I'm still Sammy the Bull. I still have a little bit of a temper. I don't like it. I cooperated against his father. That's between me and his father, not him. I don't know how you can call me a monster and your father a hero for killing a guy who was in a car accident with your brother. He didn't see your brother late at night. He's driving a mini bike. They crash. The kid dies. Do you think all those unions and all those businesses were dealing with me because I was a killer? No. They would avoid me like the plague. They dealt with me because my handshake meant something, my word meant something.
There's somebody here, not here with us at the moment, but somebody that I know, very close person to me, and he was so ecstatic. He wanted me to let you know that he was so ecstatic when he saw that, because it's not so much for Christians or for him or anything like that, but more so that when you see that change that someone goes through in their life and someone's gone through it, and then they see somebody like yourself that goes through it, they know the weight that's been lifted off your shoulder. They're aware of what it does to a person because they've gone through it themselves. So yes, your decision not only benefits you, but it's going to benefit so many more people because you have gone because you have gone to the extreme, if I may, of murder.
Yeah.
And that's the extreme, right? And so just like in the New Testament, it talks about Saul of Tarsus, who became Saint Paul, and he was killing Christians and he was on a mission, and then he finds Jesus and has that moment, becomes a Christian and stops. Obviously, he stops murdering Christians, murdering in general, but he becomes one of the most influential people in the Christian faith and writes all those letters and things like that. And so you went to that extreme, and then to have gone through this experience will definitely have a profound impact. So I can tell you from just close personal experience that people are so happy for you and so happy for the life you're living. And just to hear that Gerard, your son, is also experiencing that, I'd love to have a chance to speak with him one of these days and kind of pick his brain about that and that whole process of what it's been like for him. Yeah. So good for you guys. I'm glad.
It's a great thing. I have a big following. You know that. I have a big following. And you have no idea how many people text me or send an email to me and thank me for what I did. So I don't even know how to answer them sometimes. I did this for me. I don't know about the rest, how you feel, but I understand that a lot of people have problems, tough problems in their lives, married people, all kinds of people. Sometimes they need that little spark of somebody saying something that they're thanking me because I helped them. I didn't say what I said to help them. I didn't even know them. But it actually helped them get through a problem and change their lives. I just did another video today. I mean, it was a thing talking about 2025, and I don't think I have it. I do have it. What did I say? I mean, where I'm saying some, positive things about 2025, and you got to, change your life and get going in life. We all should have respect for one another. We don't have to like one another. We don't have to listen to one another, but we can do that. So after all, tomorrow is just another day. And what a thing that is. A fresh start, a clean slate, another chance to make things right, or at least a little less wrong. Life doesn't stop for your regrets, but it does give you tomorrow like a gift wrapped in the sunrise. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and face it head on. Who knows? Tomorrow just might be the day that you could change it all. Now, I had no idea that we were going to talk and I would put that out. It's not a Christian message. It's just a message that I'm sending people who talk to me and looking for help. And I made a video for that purpose. I'm not telling them to become a Christian. I'm not telling them to do anything. I didn't even know I was going to put this on, to be honest with you. So it's people are having problems all over the world, especially in the United States, and maybe in Canada. Governments are fucking eating us up, hurting us in different ways. And I'm talking to people all the time, and they tell me their problems, and I tell them, look, you got to, get up. When you get knocked down, you got to get back up. You're having trouble with your wife. You're having trouble with your husband. I try to tell them, he's got to stick together. Look at this guy, Carter. He just died. He was the president of the United States. He was 100 years old. He was married for 80 years. He was dying of cancer. His wife was sick and she was dying. He was in a hospice or something. He comes out, the Howard Hospice, and he goes to her to treat her nice because she's dying, and she died. And then he goes back to hospice. So look at just the courteous move. I only wonder how good she felt knowing he's dying of cancer and he's in hospice. He comes out to comfort her. That's so beautiful.
I agree.
And that's what people have to do, especially like you. You're a young guy, you got kids, you got a whole life ahead of you. The kids have got a life ahead of them. Everybody's got to teach their kids the right way. Look at the shit they're teaching them.
I know.
They want the kids, you're a boy, you could be a girl. They're teaching them in schools. Now, I'm not against gay people. I can care less. I know a lot of them in Hollywood. They're very creative, smart people. I don't care what you do with your sex life or whatever you want to do. But you can't, with kids, you want to teach them? So, governments are just fucked up.
Yeah.
And we really have to stick together and get rid of these people out of governments. I don't know why we keep voting them in. So, it's the whole package. So that's me, my life. I'm pushing 80. I'm finished, but I'm happy the way I'm going to go out. And I'm happy the way I'm running my life.
Well, hopefully you're here for at least another 20 years if you want to be. I think if you want to be. I want to, when we talk, it goes by so quickly. And I have a few things I wanted to go through, but maybe we'll go through at least one of them. And I know you talked about it on your channel. I know you talked about it with our friend Anthony Ruggiano. We just went through something so good together, you and I, in this conversation. So we're gonna shift gears a little bit, but in hopes of leaving this behind too, once and for all, and maybe there's some peace there that can be had.
Right.
So that John Gotti Jr. went on our friend's podcast recently, and he didn't have nice things to say about you. He went on a 30-minute rant. I watched the entire interview, watched it back a couple times when he was talking about you, and he didn't have nice things to say about you. We don't have to get into specifics, but John Gotti should have killed you sooner, he said. He mentioned some potential mistakes that were made, and that you're a monster, and all these different things that he brought up. And, I just want to know, what's your take on all of this? Truly in your heart, now that you've gone through this change, you've experienced peace and forgiveness and love. What's truly your honest human reaction to that conversation that he had?
Well, I'm still Sammy the Bull. I still have a little bit of a temper. I don't like it. But you know what it is? A little bit, I could say that, I cooperated against his father. That's between me and his father, not him. The things he said in that interview, most of them were all lies. I will tell you this. I knew John Gotti like a brother. Nobody could deny how close we were. John Gotti has to be doing flips in his grave over listening to what his son said. He calls his father. There was a car accident, and his brother was killed in the car accident. His father killed the guy who did it. And that's a civilian It wasn't on purpose. It was a car accident. And he makes him a hero for that. He almost admits, he admits that his father killed the guy. Now, I don't know how you can call me a monster and your father a hero for killing a guy who was in a car accident with your brother. He didn't see your brother late at night. He's driving a mini bike. They crash. The kid dies. I know if I wanted to correct all of what he says, and I do and I don't. But I would say I talked with his father when that happened. I went to the wake, the funeral. When he told me what he was going to do, I told him, bro, don't do it. It was a car accident. If you do this, I'm telling you what's going to happen. People love you right now. They'll hate you. You're making a mistake. But he did it. Not with me, but he did it. And now you want to make him a hero? He's a warrior that he did that? What about that guy's mother and father, wife, kids, family, that he's never been seen again for a car accident? My son was hit by a car once after that thing happened, and the neighbor was shitting in his pants. I told one of my people, go get the guy, bring him here. He came there. I said, what are you shitting your pants for? It was an accident. You didn't do it on purpose, right? No, it was an accident. Why are you worried about it? My son didn't die. And I never even thought of hurting the guy because he crashed into my son. It was my son taking the bike at night out of the garage and driving it. It's his fault, really. But so I don't know. What do I think about it? I was disappointed in Patrick because there's so many things that he said are lies. He said, which was insane, that I wasn't in the car on the Castellano hit. Now, the whole world knows that. The newspaper, the FBI, the Organized Crime Task Force, everybody, even guys who cooperated, knew I was there. I was the guy who planned it. I was in the car with the walkie-talkie. So he's telling him a story. I'm surprised Patrick didn't tell him, well, wait a minute. Are you crazy? The whole world knows he's in that car. And he's created that whole thing. So, in other words, you're saying that the FBI and everybody they're all lying? So, and I thought about it, and I have some guys who bang into me all the time. They're haters. I would like to react to it. Sometimes I get a little annoyed. But then I think about it. That's what they want. They want me to respond because I got a big following. And they want that controversy, that bullshit to go on. I'm not into that. I tell my story and I do my thing. These guys here, most of them, they don't have a fucking story. All they can do is say things, he's lying, want me to answer, so that they get viewers, as crazy as that sounds. So I don't answer it, I don't bother with it, and I don't let it bother me that much. Jealousy and envy is a horrible thing. I've seen it in certain people over and over again. You do this interview and your ratings go up or something. There'll be somebody who will be against you because of that. As crazy as that sounds. There'll be people who like you, love you, and say, wow, that was great. You have 50,000, 100,000 viewers now? Oh, that's great. Or subscribers or whatever you got. But there's other people who resent it because they can't do what you're doing. So they resent it. There's always that jealousy and envy. And I noticed that everybody who does that are jealous and envious. John Jr., listen, he didn't belong in their life. When we went to a commission meeting, I said this before, John Gotti told Chin Gigante, you heard what I did with my son? Meaning he made him. And Chin Gigante says, yeah, I was sorry to hear that. When he made his son, when he went to jail, acting boss, I know for a fact there's not a boss, underboss, or kunzuya. He's a joke, the kid. He's a joke. Now, if I was Patrick Big David, when he said, I spent millions of dollars on the lawyers to help my father, where the fuck did you get millions of dollars? Where did you get 10, 15, 20 million dollars to help your father? Where? From what the fuck did you do to get 10, 20 million dollars? So everything he said was bullshit. Then he said, my father swore on his dead son that I wasn't in the car. Wow. And then when Willie Boy Johnson cooperated, and he tried to stop Willie Boy Johnson, and he told Willie Boy Johnson, I won't hurt you. I swear on my dead son. Willie Boy Johnson didn't cooperate, and they won the case. And right after that, John Gotti gave a couple guys the hit, and they killed Willie Boy Johnson. So that's twice. He swore on his dead son's grave and lied. You think you're proud of that your dad did that? Then are you proud that when he was dying and the priest wanted to come over and give him the last rites, he's told God to go fuck himself and blew it off? Are you proud of that? You're calling that a man's man? What did he believe in? If he didn't believe in God, and he didn't believe I know if I swore on my son's alive, but if I swore on my dead son's grave, I would never do that. And if I did that, you could bank on I'm not lying. So he lied twice. And he blew God off. And you're proud of that. You're calling him, you're a warrior for that. You got to love him for that. I think John is flipping in his grave listening to what he said. Now, I thought about doing a whole thing. I got 302s through Anthony Reggiano, where John Gotti went to the feds and cooperated. He's saying that Joe Messina gave him permission. Joe Messina is a boss of another family, number one, and Joe Messina didn't give you that permission. He was already cooperating. He's full of shit with everything he said. And I can go into it one after the other. But why should I? That's exactly what he wants. If he wants to say something, he wants to say, fuck God, I'm not going to say don't say that. And I'm a born-again Christian. I'm not going to say it. Say it. Tell him. You want to swear on your dead son's grave and not tell the truth? Go ahead. I'm not going to correct you. Do what you want. You want to call me a maniac or a killer? I am a hit guy, a professional hit guy. I don't deny that. I am a killer. I was a killer. What I said is I killed for the Mafia. I never killed a woman. I never killed a kid. And I never killed anybody outside of our life, like this poor guy in a car accident. Those things I never did. But you live, when you take the oath, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. You live by the rules or you die because of the rules. And that was me. I was good at it, effective. Bosses used me for it. And one of the things that Johnny Keys hit was the impossible hit. They used me. 5 families and a family in Philadelphia couldn't get it done. They gave me the contract. I got it done. So I don't deny that, what I did. And I'm not embarrassed of it or sick about it or anything. I was part of the life. It was part of my life. So I live by the code. If I die, I die by the code. I'm not concerned with it. But I'm not concerned with him getting on like a clown with Patrick McDavid and coming out with the most ridiculous fucking stories. Now, there was guys who, FBI, like I said, DEA, New York State organized crime, guys who cooperated. Everybody knew I was in that fucking car, and I created the hit. I planned it. I ran it. I was on it. And he says it. John swore on his dead son's grave that I wasn't in the car. I wasn't on it. Now, if people want to believe that, I could care less. And if I wasn't, why the fuck would I confess to it? Why would I confess to a double murder if I didn't do it? If I'm not there? I wish I wasn't there. I wouldn't have had those charges. So it doesn't even make sense when you look at it in any way. There's no plus for me to say I was there. It hurt me. It didn't help me. So, but to answer him, in a way, maybe I'm answering him through you, but I don't know if he'll hear this or not.
I like what John A. Light said. I don't know if you watched his response to it and how he was talking about how he's found God. And so John A. Light he did a little video. I think it was about 15 minutes long or so, maybe 20, something like that. And he was just talking about this interview. And he said a few things I really, really liked it. I encourage you to watch it. And he said that, that life, treacherous life, gruesome life, he's not proud of it, and that he's changed, and that he's found God, and that he doesn't even want to be talking about the same story over and over again, and that this is not a life that we should be proud of. He was very monotone. He was very calm. He was very collective. And he was just sharing the fact that, how many times are we going to go and try to share the same story and get clicks and whatnot when none of us are proud of that life, and we've gone through that change, and he's found God in his life and things like that. And he was talking about how he doesn't watch other people's stuff. He doesn't even watch his own stuff, is what he said after it's recorded. So I like that take on it, where it was about just leave it in the past, and we're all trying to live better lives and become better people. I did like his take on it in that sense.
I didn't watch A. Light's tape, but I agree with that 100%. And I did watch Dominic Sicali's tape on it, and he's calling John Jr. a liar in different ways for different reasons. I listened to that. So I'm really surprised at Patrick McDavid, because a lot of this information is public information. He could have checked them a dozen times in that interview, and he did. I don't know why. And a couple of times he shut Patrick down. Well, excuse me, let me finish. It was so obvious what he did. It was a script. He scripted the whole thing he was going to say and do. He got on. He wasn't answering a question. It was a script. He was saying his story. And when Patrick once in a while tried to interject, he stopped Patrick and just kept going with the script. So it was a script. It wasn't a conversation like we're having. It was a script. You follow what I'm saying? He was never stopped. He just read a script. His little story that he probably read over in his head 100 times, came on and said it. So I don't really care about him. I think he's a goofball. I don't think he should have been part of the life. I didn't make my son. Why would I want to bring my son into that life? So he could kill somebody? So he can get killed? So he can go to prison for fucking, I got over 22 years in prisons. Why would I want my son in this life? So John Gotti took his son into life, even against other people. Now, he's saying he didn't know me that well. When he got made, John Jr., your father is the boss. You can't make him because it's nepotism. So who did he make lead the ceremony? Who made him? Me. When he became a captain, he sent me and Frankie Lacasio to make him a captain. And he's saying he don't know me? I made him. I mean, it's so crazy that it's really ridiculous. And then I think he's 18 or 19 years younger than me. And he was saying something that doesn't even make sense. So I'm not going to get into that too much. I told you, but I'm not going to do a video about it. I'm not going to talk about it too much. You know, I'm answering a question. But to me, to come out and do a video about it or to bring it up to you, I didn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'm only answering your questions. But the whole thing is ridiculous.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you answering the question. One final thought I was going to ask you, one final question I should say, is I've asked you the question about regret in our last interview, and you clarified it in what you meant, and you clarified what you regretted and then what you didn't regret. So I'm just curious, for my own curiosity, now that you've gone through this experience, you've started this new chapter of your life as a born-again Christian, have you had any time to reflect, or just naturally things have come to mind or in your heart that you're like, you know, I said I didn't regret this, or maybe I thought I didn't regret this, but looking back at it now, I see it in a different light and in a different perspective, and I truly regret this. Has there been any kind of thought that's crossed your mind or your heart that way?
I've always regretted some of the fucked up things I've done. But here's how I look at it. Not only just because I became a born-again Christian, when I left the life, I cooperated knowing that I would probably be killed. I didn't care. I put that life behind me and I left. I broke rules. And I think about what I am last year, the year before that, and now. And I like the way I am now. People like me. They love me. I help people. They help me. I love what I am now. Here's what I think. Everything that happened in my life and everything I did in my life made me who I am now. Maybe I would have never been a born-again Christian if I didn't break away from the life, or I didn't become what I am. So whatever I did, good, bad, or indifferent, I like what that all did to me and what I am now. So I don't regret all the things I've done, in a way, meaning that I'm very comfortable in what I am now. What I'm going to leave behind to my children, grandchildren. I have a great-grandson now. What I'm going to leave them, I'm not an animal. I'm not a serial killer. I was a hit guy. They could know the whole truth. But what I am now, what I did, that's what makes you what you are right now. Whatever you did in your life from a kid growing up, there's probably a couple of things you don't like. I don't want to get into that, and I'm not going to ask you a question about it. But whatever you did, you're sitting here across from me. You've got a wife at home. You're really proud about your kids. What you are now, it was made when you were a kid growing up. So if you're happy with yourself now, you're happy with your wife and your kids, and you really enjoy what you are right now, that all happened for good, bad, or indifferent what you did in your life. And that goes for not just you, but everybody. So it's like, I almost feel like it's like football, Monday night quarterback. He should have thrown this, or he should have did that. He should have picked up the ball. He should have threw a pass. He should have, but he didn't. And the team goes on, the guys go on, they become better players, better people, better everything. Or they become monsters altogether. Serial killers like Roy DeMeo or Gas Pipe, there's no line for them. They never stopped. So, and then you'll inherit that label and you'll die with that label. So me, I think I'm going to die with the label I have now. I'm very comfortable at what I am right now with my children. My son asking me about becoming a born-again Christian. He's not telling me who we want to murder or who we want to beat up. I've created that now in this life. So I'm content on what I am right now. I'm happy with what I am right now. And hopefully when these movies and everything come out, you know what I tell the guys that are heavyweights? I tell them, listen, tell the truth. They have FBI people they're talking to, DEA, CIA. They're talking to everybody and their mother, and they're talking to people without asking me. They're talking to people who knew me or grew up with me in different times, different years, and they're talking to all of them. And I tell them, don't edit it, nothing out. Put it all in there. I want the movie to be truth. I want to squirm a couple of times when I'm watching it myself. But I'm not worried about it. I want the truth to be told. I'm headed out the door. I want my kids and grandchildren to look at it and see exactly what I was and why. And the rest of the world. I don't want to fake it. I don't want to say, you know, I found God in prison, or I found Jesus in prison. And you know what I would tell a guy when he tells me that? Oh, yeah? What color shirt was he wearing? What was he doing? Was he playing cards? Was he in the rec room? Where did you find him? I never found Jesus in prison. I always believed in God. But I never used that excuse to get out of prison or lessen my time or make people think I'm a good guy. I could give a fuck what people think. You could like me, love me, hate me, whatever you want to do, that's fine. That's normal. We base our constitutions and our rights on that. We base our life on that. I do too. Now, like I said, I do understand he could be mad at me because of how things turned out between me and his father. And I'm sure that my kids on occasion would not like what he said. But I tell my kids, just ignore it. It don't mean nothing. But that nothing. Don't waste your time with negative bullshit. So that's what I am right now. That's the way I feel right now. Now, would I feel different later on in life? I don't know. But I don't think so. Because as long as I stay on the path of doing what I feel is the right thing, I can still be tough in a way. I'm tough in business. I'll argue. I'll fight for things. But, you know, I tell a lot of people, I have a friend of mine's son working with me. And I talk to him a little bit and tell him about life. Do you think all those unions and all those businesses were dealing with me because I was a killer? No. They would avoid me like the plague. They dealt with me because my handshake meant something, my word meant something, and I was fair. The FBI once asked me, why didn't any of these people you were dealing with rat on you? I said, why would they? I never threatened them. They made money with me. What are they going to come to you and tell you, I'm making a lot of money with Sammy. Could you put him in jail? What would they say? Use your own mentality, told the agents. Use your own mentality. Why didn't they come? They're not afraid. They did good with me. I have people who still talk to me I was in business with and stuff like that, or had relationships with, who are 40 and 50 years ago, and they communicate with me and talk to me. Why would they? If I was such a fucking monster, I was this, I was that, why would they be talking to me? So do I give a fuck what John Jr. says? When I could have a herd of those people talking to me or getting mad at what he said? I tell them, I laugh at them. I tell them, no, what are you, nuts? Don't even worry about it. He's an idiot. He's a complete idiot. He has his son fighting in a cage against, what's his name?
Mayweather.
And then they use the M word. He gave you a shot to make money and do whatever. He's like a kid. They want to run in the ring and start fighting and do it. It's idiotic.
I want to segue into something else. So I know you've spent more than the time allotted with us. I have our friend Anthony Ruggiano Jr. He's going to hop on a call. I'm interviewing him after this. He's actually on a little bit early. I see the notification popping up on my laptop.
Uh-oh, here's trouble.
What's going on?